Welcome back. You're listening to the Cindy Laverty Show. Thanks for staying with us. My guest today is Marcel Pick, and we are talking about such an important issue, which is adrenal fatigue, which sounds very technical. But if you've been listening to the show, like I have been talking to Marcel, it's obvious that I have some of this. Well, I took the test in the book, and I did not have low, but I was moderate. So, Marcel, thanks for staying with us.
Oh, definitely.
Let's talk about the adrenal diet, or the, what do you call it in here? It's the adrenal-friendly diet. Yeah, and I think there are some really enlightening things about what we're eating a lot of in our culture and what we should not be eating.
Yeah.
So...
Well, basically, what I've done with the food plan in here is I made it as simple as possible. It's 30 minutes or less. The recipes are family-friendly.
Yes, they are.
But it is gluten-free. And, you know, the part that is problematic is that I've never seen such an epidemic of people that are no longer just celiac, but also gluten-sensitive. And we now have, believe it or not, a code that we can use for insurance showing that people have gluten sensitivity. And we see it every day in our practice.
Why are people so sensitive to gluten?
Well, I think because it's in everything, Cindy. You know, they put it in the glue of envelopes for a long time. It's in every filler, every time you go to a restaurant, any kind of sauce that you have, gluten is in it. We have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have it for snacks. It's in everything. And our bodies just become too inundated with it. And we also have a lot of genetic modification so that we only are using more one strain of the wheat as opposed to multi-strains.
Yeah, the genetic modification is a big thing, I know.
It's a big problem.
And we have no idea what's been genetically modified.
We don't anymore. And now there's pollination from crop to crop, even if they don't have genetically modified themselves. And what I see is so many times people will come in with foggy thinking, or they have joint pain, or they have GI problems, or they can't lose weight. And the first thing I do for many of those people is stop gluten. And I am so astounded at how often, more often than not, it makes a big difference.
Does that also help with weight loss?
It does, absolutely, especially if you have a gluten sensitivity. Absolutely will help with weight loss. And, you know, in my practice, I see a lot of what we call weight loss resistance, that people are exercising, they've, curtailed their food, they're really eating a relatively balanced program with less calories, so to speak, and they still can't lose weight.
Right.
So then we have to dig a little deeper to find out what else is sabotaging them.
Is there a test that you give people to find out about gluten sensitivity?
I don't, actually, because if you do the test, that's going to tell you about celiac, which is actually much more of a significant problem because that's more of an autoimmune issue. But gluten sensitivity, the thing to do is to get them off gluten.
Just see what happens.
Just stay off it, exactly. And, the food plan is, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, with protein at every one of those meals. I don't mean a lot of protein. You know what? The size of the palm of your hand or a little bit less for lunch and dinner. And that you have adequate fruits and vegetables. That's what's going to be really, really important. And that you're more mindful of curtailing those carbohydrates.
Is this what you mean when you say make your diet effective?
It is.
Okay.
It is. And what people notice is they have more energy. Mm-hmm. They don't have the cravings. Mm-hmm. They are feeling their skin starts to change, their hair starts to look better, and they generally feel very different because we've made these lifestyle adaptations that really go with their physiology.
Okay. And so for the people who are listening that have no idea how you would even begin this, in the back of Marcel's book, she has a whole... Oh, my gosh, you have so many pages here of resources.
I do.
And if you just follow this, it's really helpful. Off the subject of diet, why should we care about what cleaning supplies we use?
Well, the whole
other than poison.
I know, but many, many things are affecting our health. And many things also affect our adrenals. If we have an infection, if you have mold overgrowth in the basement, that pushes your body all the time, so that can cause adrenal dysfunction. If you have too many chemicals in your house and you happen to be somebody who's chemically sensitive, that can also push the adrenals. So we're having to look at everything. And I know for some of you listening, it's like, oh, my gosh, this is so overwhelming. But just take baby steps.
Right. You don't have to do it all in one day.
No. And instead of Windex, you start using a little bit vinegar and water, and I have some recipes in there of how to use some cleaning products that are more natural. You can also go to my website, women2women.com, and see some of those products, too. We don't want to make life harder for anyone. This is about how do we simplify? How do we help you with many of your health needs?
Right.
And how do you begin to make those changes? So it's diet, it's looking at what you use in your environment for cleaning, it's starting to eat organic as much as possible, it's starting to have some downtime and rest for yourself. It's really starting to take care of yourself in a different way. That's the whole goal of this.
And if you feel better, it'll be easier to implement those changes.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Exactly.
and then you talk about doing the right kind of exercise. Is there a wrong kind of exercise?
There is.
Okay, I figured.
And for somebody that's a racehorse, if they feel good after they exercise, then keep on exercising.
Well, I actually do yoga.
Marvelous. That's fantastic. And there are some people that are racehorses that like to run. Great.
Ugh, I hate that.
When you're a workhorse and when you're a flatliner, most of the time what people say to me is, I do it because I'm supposed to, but I feel tired afterwards.
Right.
Then you need to rest first. You need to take care of your body first. You should be feeling exhilarated after exercise, not worse.
Uh-huh.
So if you're feeling worse, you're someone that needs to take a rest for a while. Don't get your heart rate over 90. Start walking. Start doing some yoga that's, really is more restorative as opposed to breaking down, which is what many women do because they want to lose that weight.
Right, right. So they just do tons of cardio and
Exactly.
and end up in a big mess.
Exactly. And, there's a couple of things that I recommend for people. There's a fabulous, there's a couple of options for people. J.J. Virgin has a 4x4 program that's really good that you can get. Also, there's a DVD called Slow Burn by Frederick Hahn. That's a fantastic way to start building muscle, but it's done very, very slowly. So you're going to maybe do 3 reps instead of 15.
So he has a different approach, say, than J.J.
Totally
Virgin
different.
does.
Totally
Interesting.
different.
That's very interesting.
Yes, and it's using, your body, but you're going down, and when you're doing a push-up, you're doing it an inch and then, a second. So you're going very, very slowly.
Oh, that's what we do in yoga, and I hate that.
But it's so good for your muscles. It's like, oh,
I
my God.
know,
Build those muscles
Marcel,
right up.
but I don't have to like it.
I know what you mean. But also doing bursting, so if you're on a treadmill, go for 20 minutes. Warm up for 3 minutes, burst for 30 seconds, cool down for 90 seconds.
Bursting means
again.
going really fast, like
Absolutely.
going all out. Oh my gosh, we have to take another break. Stay with us. You're listening to the Cindy Laverty Show. I'll be right back. I found the perfect